And I think we're really on to something here with this inner and outer and kind of mirrored reflections of this system. So what do you think about going into a clearing of this what do we want to call it? It's a non-physical body system. Um, and it's designed to create interference in our field. And so I've heard people talk about removing their chakras, but I think that's an incomplete process because if you remove the chakras, but you still have the other seven kind of reflections of it, then you're going to have some weird, jarring, maybe stuff bouncing around. But, and I'm not saying remove them necessarily, but what I am saying is let's take the sigils down, close all the portals,
There you go.
and maybe just like kind of like shut it down as a system for the collective and see what
Yep.
happens.
Yep. Well, yeah, I'm being attacked, by the way. So I need some holy water.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's start with that.
Yeah. So I'll do a demonstration of support. Yeah, I lit a candle, reinforcing shields, and just blasting outward. I'm casting everything away. Get away from me. I don't care who you are. Didn't I tell you? Go to the winery. They're partying over there. Go get them.
How about get off our planet?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I told him you got this weekend, or maybe even we'll extend out to Halloween. Go have a big final blast, and then take the portal out of here.
You know what's so
Yep.
funny? So I recently went on a trip to Moab, Utah, which is a gorgeous place, and there's a lot of ancient land spirits there, and it's really awesome, and I love tapping into the land, and I was able to do some really cool magic down there. But what I heard the whole trip was like cast the same thing, like casting out these spirits, but it was almost like you're on notice. Your time here is winding down. You have until the end of October to basically get your shit together and GTFO. Like you no longer belong here. We do not consent to your influence. We do not want you on this planet. So here's your notice. You have until, like you just said, Halloween, and then we'll see what shifts from there. But it was like it felt like on such a grand scale. It was not like I'm talking to these entities. It was like Gaia's telling you you are your time is done. So bye.
Yeah.
So I'm just sending golden light firstly to your central column. Well, I'm sending it to your higher self, and your higher self can integrate that in however is best for you.
All right. I'm doing likewise. Well, you've got a whole grid that's populating.
Calling in all our helpers and friends across all lifetimes, timelines, spaces, dimensions, and realities in the name of service to others and clearing interference paradigms for all beings across all lifetimes, timelines, spaces, dimensions, and realities. Eliminating all inappropriate reflections that are not in our highest good and not in service to the unity consciousness field. And so it is. The more work that we do on Gaia, like I see her establishing her light in kind of brand new ways. And as things clear out through these channels that go within her, and it reaches the core, and like it almost like I see it becoming interdimensional, where the energy kind of goes into her core, and then I don't understand the mechanics of it, but I see it exiting Gaia's sphere. So sending love and blessings with all of that energy for the highest good of every all. I'm anchoring light from the truest, highest version of our sun, our solar system's sun. As we step into our central channel and align it with our higher selves, our oversouls, our true north, our highest timeline possible, through our direct connection to source, which probably runs through the sun. So we'll just pull it from there, pulling it down, pulling it down. Do you still feel under attack?
No, no, it's gone now. Right before I left, it says we still have a little bit of time because I said get off my planet.
That's fine. Enjoy your last week on Earth. So
Exactly.
it is.
Yep. It's good though. I feel like my feet are on rock solid ground, standing in my true identity. They don't stand a chance. I go stand on Mount Hermon right now where the angels fell, and just I feel like I just gather them up in a big ball and roll them downhill into the ocean.
Yeah, I mean, so let's stand there and anchor our Earth Star chakra. And from our central channel, let's just literally drop a cord into our Earth Star chakra and allow it to drop down into Gaia's core, all the way deeply and completely into her core, into her master cell. Because this isn't just about us, this is a collective with the planet, co-creation. And so as we perform this healing on the collective of humanity, we also share it with the collective of planets currently awakening at this time, because maybe it's not just Gaia. So we drop this energetic cord into the core master cell of Gaia herself. And we just anchor that light within this master cell and we surround it with protection of the highest order, assisted by all our friends and helpers and guides across all of the lifetimes, timelines, spaces, dimensions, and realities. Demanding that all of the outgoing energy takes all of its belongings, all of its helpers, friends, all of its trash, all of its debris. We don't need to be bogged down by clearing up all of your junk. When you leave, take all your shit with you. We don't want it. We do not accept. We do not consent. Take all of your portals with you, everything affecting our auric layers, our body area networks, our wide body area networks, all of our technology, our devices, our local area networks, wide area networks, data storage, protocols, processes, handshakes, cell phones, tablets, all of the above, all technological devices are cleansed and cleared through the exiting of this energy, cleared and cleansed of any negative interference protocols and paradigms. We do not consent to the use of our body in these ways. Gratitude, expressing gratitude for the lessons we've learned here. We would not be the same without the knowledge and the wisdom gained in this process. But we also reclaim the sovereignty and in establishing strong boundaries around what we do not consent to. Allowing space for those watching to set any additional intentions with this process. Anything we'd like cleared, restored, reintegrated into the unity consciousness template. As we anchor new light, we allow that which is in opposition to flow freely to the exit. And Gaia's already opened a portal for that transference to take place. It's interesting though. I see this huge kind of pillar of light forming, and it's two rings of light, and on the outer ring it's kind of white light coming down, and the inner ring is like black light flowing up and out. And so it's almost like the black light is this density exiting in the equal and opposite. And as the density exits, the white light comes in equal and uh, it's like I don't remember the person who to every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. Who is this?
Isaac Newton,
That's right. Thank you.
or as I refer to him today, Brian May.
So we're going to hold space for this process to complete in divine timing, and we'll know it's done when I'm hearing Gaia say we are done, and the realms of angelic assistance will continue holding this space. But we'll know when it's done because the emerald green energy will start to flow through the black, and that's how we know um, that the deepest, darkest parts of the density are gone, and that's the green is Gaia's showing me her organic natural core. It's like
Mhm.
the like that emerald tablet energy is stored in her core. And so as the dark forces leave, it opens up her ability to shine her own natural light through instead of um the other version. Trying to figure out what word to put there, and like 100 different words came through. So we'll just say the other version. We're no longer the other version of ourselves, and so it is. We step into our purity, into our sovereignty, and into our organic, original divine blueprint. That's another thing, being careful with words, because when people say organic divine blueprint, I hear opportunity for shenanigans if you're not being super conscious of the words. Like, okay, well, if it's the original organic divine blueprint, is that different than organic divine blueprint? And is that an opportunity for misappropriation because of
Mhm.
semantics? And I think that's going to be a big eye opener when all of this finally comes to light and people realize just the extent of the illusions and bad words are getting hard. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm calling in more angelic light into my own central channel as well.
Calling in Archangel Uriel and his angels, for he is the bearer of light. I shouldn't say it that way. Here we go, semantics again. He
It's
carries,
tricky.
he is the light of God. That is his identity. He brings in that cosmic light of truth. He is a sword bearer, so he can defend off anything that might threaten that light, threaten that truth. And then he also carries a book of wisdom. And that full wisdom is at your disposal. You can employ any and all aspects of it anytime you need to. I'm also being told to watch the northern lights. I'm going to use that term, not the other term, but watch the northern lights. They will no longer be purple. They will be green, just like you described. And that will be a sign that Gaia has detoxified.
Cool.
If you look at older pictures of it, they're green with some like chartreuse and other things, but they're not purple. Purple is the HAARP stuff, the microwave energy. The false light.
The inappropriate technological influence, yes.
Exactly. Yep.
The illusionary one.
Well, and you've noticed that all the skinny clouds that we've been seeing for all these years, I haven't seen any in a while. So I don't know if you guys had anything to do with it, but I'm very grateful to see blue sky again.
I'm calling in that cosmic wisdom, universal love, and undistorted discernment into the central channel of the collective, both vertically and horizontally, to meet in unity at the central axis point, to anchor all this in through all time, space, dimensions, and realities for the highest good of every all.
Wow, Crystal, we got a crowd. All I do is I was just reaching out to Archangel Uriel, and then two or three angels linked onto him came around, and all of a sudden, just like layer by layer by layer, there are all these angels just sort of crowding in a big circle around us. They're very interested in what we're up to. Very interested.
Yeah, they're so underutilized. Like, how many people call in the support of their angels? I know a handful, but I know it's not prominent here.
Yeah.
So I think they're excited for the opportunity to do some good on behalf of unity consciousness, and they've been waiting a long time for that opportunity. So as much as they're standing in a circle, there's also like uh, how do I describe this? It's like a spiral. They're like, yes, they're standing in a circle, but it's also not just one circle because it's spiraling around this channel of energy that we're holding space for. Like
Yeah.
they're helping us hold that space.
Mhm. And Uriel's telling me he's explaining that I know that a certain wizard was complaining that angels don't do anything for us, but they had to be extremely respectful of our free will. And what we didn't also take into account is that also included the free will of Gaia and also the sun and the other planets. So now that we have discussed this with Gaia, Gaia has now given her will to them, and asked for their assistance. So now that's why they've got a lot more permission now to be more involved. And she called them all in.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting distinction and area of opportunity for to witness is like how often do we want to heal and clear things for people, but we don't always realize the extent and the depth of the co-creation at play with Gaia. So it's almost like we're not sending healing energy to people. We're anchoring it into Gaia's core so that she can take it and disperse it like a, you know, those balls of electric, like there's an electricity thing at the middle and it's surrounded by glass and you put your fingers on it and it like shoots out at your fingers. Like that's kind of how I see her facilitating this healing through the electricity that runs through her that like that we have been developing all these years, the like our electrical grids and systems and everything else, is she's regridding all of that because
Mm-hmm.
we are so bombarded with technology and information and electricity that it's beyond like maybe our capacity as individuals or even decent sized groups to perform this healing at the level that it's truly needed because it needs to come from the core. And as we identify that and share it and open that up for Gaia, it's we're creating a channel for the co-creation for it to flow in its highest form.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like the filament on a light bulb. Like you know how there's that part where like there's a gap. It's not
Yep.
really a gap. It's like a spinny wire thing, but it's like Gaia's on one end and we're on the other, and we are strongest when we are in tandem with each other and like true partnership with our co activities. We'll say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. On the electrical side, electricity or any kind of current will follow the path of least resistance. And so that's another message that I'm getting is that you guys are, we as humans, we are lowering our resistance now more than ever. And that's where the help comes from. That's why I was having trouble with manifestation. I might have mentioned before about, just trying to accepting my own identity outside of my flesh suit and my job and everything else. And that's probably why I don't have a job right now. Trying to get me out of thinking that you are this thing or that your boss has authority and such. So my resistance is a lot lower than it was a month ago. And now I'm seeing a lot more synchronicities.
I think there's plenty of people that could benefit from what one might call a 3D job, but I also think there's some important lessons in coming to the realization that maybe we don't need that. Maybe it's our choice whether we want to go into that realm. But it's a journey for anyone who chooses not to because it's about learning your gifts and then figuring out how to share them with the world. And
Yeah,
that hasn't always been an easy process, and there's a lot of different like interferences and things that want to get in the way of that. And
that too. Yes.
so clearing the path for all forms of true light to shine their identity through the world in the way they see fit, in the way that's most aligned for them, in their sovereignty and their creative genius inner child. I, I see this lotus flower kind of populating around Gaia.
That's a sign of detoxification. The purple lotus in particular is the most spiritual plant, I think, on earth.
I don't know what's happening, but some of my technology is recalibrating a little bit as we're holding this space.
Yeah.
My camera's glitched a few times. In fact, it's been doing that for a couple of weeks now, so we'll just condition all of that as well.
I've been paying attention to mine to see if it was glitching or not. I don't think so.
No, I haven't noticed anything on your end. It's only me that glitches too. Like it's just like like my background is fine. Something about that dance class, something entered my technology and my field and I think stored itself in my home. So we're releasing all that too for me and the collective.
Just
Also,
setting the frequency of quartz, which I'm sure you already have in your domicile there. Quartz, just to transmute any digital noise, dirt, defragment the area around it. Yeah. Let me activate your kyanite as well.
lots of kyanite.
Excellent. So that should definitely be compatible with your electronics. Just activate it so it doesn't store any of it. Just activate it, defragment, zero out, and then you can vacuum it up later. Okay, that's a good point. I can actually, there's a kyanite line here. I can activate that.
That's a
Help
great
give,
idea.
yeah, help give the, I don't know, the dark, yeah, I shouldn't say, I was just gonna say the darkies,
Like it.
the dark entities a push.
Yeah, we can extend that activation to all crystal mines, all underground caves, all underwater caves, anywhere and everywhere that crystals formulate and grow. Shining Gaia's organic etheric light into every single pocket, every single crystal, every single stone, every consciousness that carries it through all time, space, dimensions, and realities. Only highest light, highest love, and highest good of every all can permeate these organic structures.
I'm catching that there's some, shall we say, guards around kyanite mine. I guess I should have figured that as much. And I'm just telling them, hey, don't worry about it. We're all going to benefit. And they're like, no, you're not allowed here. I was like, yeah, but we're celebrating the emancipation of Gaia. And they looked scared. Now they're on the run.
You cut off these rocks, we think they're ours. Oh yeah, mom says otherwise.
Yeah. Sayonara, suckers.
So let's release their whole collective, whatever guardsmanship uh is attempting to hold its strongholds in all layers, levels, and dimensions of Gaia's existence. We are advocates of her sovereignty, and she has claimed it as her own, which means you no longer have contracts here. She has revoked those that do not serve the highest good of the collective through all timelines, lifetimes, spaces, dimensions, and realities. Oh, that's a big one. There's been a lot of crystalline interference on lots of layers.
Yeah.
I'm getting something about blood density too with this.
Blood density, huh?
Yeah, like I'm not even really sure what that means, but almost like if there was a way to change the density of our blood through the crystals in the planet, that has been tried.
Hmm.
And so let's remove all that. Same thing with the cerebral spinal fluid.
Hmm.
I already knew that. This blood density thing is new to my awareness.
Well, it's a sign of age. The older you get, the thicker your blood gets. I think it just becomes more dense energetically. It becomes more dense.
Maybe it's
And
not
so,
supposed to.
what's that?
Maybe it's not supposed to. Maybe that's the interference is this idea that we age is also an
Yeah.
interference
Yep.
and a deep programming and it's so interesting and tricky the way some of this stuff works because it literally is us doing it to ourselves. How many people do you know that walk around going, oh, aches and pains, oh, I'm getting old?
Yeah.
Maybe that's how
Yep.
you're interpreting it, and maybe you're cursing yourself by saying that.
That's it. That's a feedback loop.
Hmm.
So maybe this is young.
Yeah, it's all about mindset and positive mental attitude.
Yeah.
The paradigms of the world get us kind of bogged down in whatever we end up picking up, whether that's fear or self-deprecation or whatever it is. And so coming into the realization that we really are in the driver's seat of that process gets to be maybe a learning experience and a whole fun adventure on redefining some of those things for ourselves. Um, we're so conditioned to being in the mind all the time, and that's where a lot of this stuff formulates. And so I like this formula of keeping the diet kind of clean and detoxed in order to keep the mind detoxification kind of stable, and then bringing that. I just see it kind of funneling down into the heart as this heart channel opens and cleans out. Ooh, maybe that vacuum thing is able to suction down whatever gunk in the brain we don't need and kind of clear out through this horizontal axis point as well.
Hmm. Yeah.
Do you feel this
Well,
horizontal channel yet? Because I'm seeing us both like holding space for this, and something's happening in the middle, and I don't quite know what yet.
well, like a foggy center that's developing.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think it's meant to be foggy. I think we're bringing awareness to the fact that it's there, and it's maybe a channel that is going to clear out once we um like step into holding space for it, perhaps. I see the angelic team circling around again in that same spiral.
Mm. Well, I'm seeing the color spectrum kind of descending down through it. And again, with the electrical, like those, yeah, the electrical sparks that you talked about, zapping here, zapping there.
I call them sparkle farts.
Nice. Sparkle
Like
farts.
clear, it's like a clearing thing, and also like helps it come up to in vibration in some
Oh,
way.
okay. All right. Well, it's like yeah, spraying a handful of ones and zeros and seeing what sticks. But I'm taking one spark. I'm just kind of bringing it up, and I'm looking at it, and what you have is really bright in the middle, but instead of it tapering off evenly, there's actually this dark circle around it. It just clearly delineates the inner light away from the outer light. So both of those potentialities are there, fully dark, fully light.
Yeah, and I'm seeing the like the old style light bulbs where the filament was like in a spiral,
Yeah.
and the space in between it is the dark, and the spiral is the light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it gets darker just outside of the light. Those are Edison tubes.
And it's like once we land on the right mechanism or process to reverse the flow of that, it's like energies start flowing like galactically back into Gaia to restore all that's been taken from her and us as a collective. So I don't exactly know how that's working just yet. I just know what I know.
No, that's excellent. Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, religion's interesting. There's lots of different layers.
Yep.
I think it's not a coincidence that it's coming up because we're also clearing all of the unwanted ripple effects that was created by introducing religion in the first place. Religion wasn't always on this planet.
Yep.
So clearing all of that. Oh my gosh, lots clearing out of that.
Yeah. Well,
So there's something about like direct connection in the lineage to some of these awful paradigms, as well as um, indirect connections,
hmm.
all holding kind of similar patterning for each other. And so maybe being able to come into the awareness of that breaks it up a little bit so that
Yeah.
it can clear from all sides of the spectrum because it's been everywhere and so densely anchored in that it's been difficult to clear. And maybe because of some of this illusionary kind of reflective influence as well. And maybe that's why I came in with the level of story that I did on all the different levels, because like how else do you overcome such an intricately designed system that's meant to keep you locked into it? You have to be able to have enough information to put it on the board and know, what makes sense and what doesn't.
Hmm.
So more illusions, clearing out all the mechanisms, all the paradigms,
Yeah.
anything and everything that's kept us stagnant or stuck in those.
I'd like to call upon the geometry to correct itself, return itself back into its original form.
Original organic divine blueprint of all that is coming in. To be anchored in its proper place, never to be lost again. So it is.
So it is.
It's funny that we were talking about electricity, because I have a call in about 3 days, that's going to be focused on water, like sending love and light and kind of gritting to all
Okay.
the waters on the planet. So like saltwater, freshwater, estuaries where those meet, mineral grids, like all the different layers of water and how it plays into life, I guess.
Yeah.
I've been getting for a while that there's something about the work that we're doing that is conditioning the relationship between water and electricity. And if you think about the human biofield, we're 70, 80, whatever percentage it is water, but we also are very much electromagnetic. And so there's something to be said about restoring like whatever's needed there in that relationship to really fully bring through, I don't know, unity consciousness, maybe? Maybe that's part of what's missing is this proper balance between the water, the electricity, and the magnetism.
Mhm.
Just holding space for the clearing of all distortion patterns that have kept us from embodying our full capacity for telepathy, as well as any other natural gifts. Because we all have some. We're just not oriented to that lifestyle anymore.
Right. Mm.
Almost like, okay, so you know how we created this central access point that goes through the heart and one's vertical and one's horizontal?
Yes.
It's like there's a top of an ankh around our body that connects with that central access point. So it's almost like I'm seeing like a bubble or like sphere or whatever you want to call it, but it's like an easy way to move that control room like from the place where it's out of place to just like follow the bubble, just kind of spin the bubble to where that can move back to where it needs to be.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
So maybe, oh, I don't know what I'm seeing. Is this a helmet? Is this it's a helmet around our heart that encapsulates everything above it for
Well,
protection? And that's part
uh,
of what's been messed with.
well, the two spheres that come together from the head and from down through the head and then into the heart, when they join together, that is your heart chamber right there. That becomes your sanctuary. It's my understanding. And then from there, you go anywhere.
I wonder if I was seeing an expanded version of the sanctuary where the sanctuary we created was like the size of a basketball. And so almost
Yep.
like if you blow that bubble up bigger,
Uh-huh. That's what I do.
stand with you. Yeah.
I blow it up until I'm completely encased inside of it. And so I'm life size inside of my blue cathedral. Now, as we detox Gaia here, I'm looking at, well, we've probably done all of this already, but uploading gratitude frequencies. It's uploading frequencies of gratitude, and it's probably part of your, let's just integrate that into your already established grid work. And then piggybacking that with restoring source codes for a return to abundance.
Releasing all resistance to receiving abundance,
Oh, yeah.
honoring the wisdom that we are abundance. And clearing out any and all energetic templates uh, that deviate from the original organic divine blueprint. Thank you. Talking about this 14 chamber non-body system has me wondering how many of the other non-body systems have some kind of like distortion or misinformation. Or I mean, we already talked about the chakra system, but I think what we heard in class was that there's like 144 or something like that they were able to like list and identify. Like, so who knows how many of those are tainted too?
Mm-hmm.
Even the stuff we think is helping us, like just clearing all of that, every single all distortion, all layers, levels, and dimensions across all timelines, lifetimes, spaces, dimensions, and realities. Ice good of every all. Ice good of every. Yes, thank you. I accept, I receive. Yes, thank you. I accept, I receive. Restoring the natural templates of divinity, the original organic template, original organic divine template of the heart of all that is, heart of the planet, the heart of every single species, heart of our collective, the heart of the unity conscious field. Be here now. With us in our divine sovereignty, with us in our hearts, forever and ever. And as we open up this grand channel, pillar of light, it automatically sucks out any and all energetic influence, no longer in our highest good, both seen and unseen, any and all illusions, distortions, misrepresentations, misappropriations, allowing it all to move through us. Accepting and receiving the new as we release and allow all else. Trusting the process. Trust and allow, trust and allow. I'm going to recommend everyone listening to this stick your feet in the earth if you can, some dirt or some grass. Drink lots of water as we ground and integrate. Do whatever earthing processes that are available and aligned for you. So we ground all of this to Gaia together, grounding the collective into unity consciousness. Aligning our unity fields with the highest good of all, across all lifetimes, timelines, spaces, dimensions, and realities. Anchoring the unity consciousness field into the restored, original, organic, divine blueprint of the heart and all other original, organic, divine blueprints as we anchor the unity of all that is into all that is. What an honor. We express gratitude for the process, for the lessons, for the wisdom, and for the love that's present. Across all of the lifetimes, timelines, spaces, dimensions, and realities. Thanking our angels, guides, helpers, and friends, and Gaia, our collective energies, our shared energies, our divine sovereignty, and our inner children for participating in this process. I'm hearing step into the sun as well. Safely, of course. But there's something about us bridging with our energy, the connection between the warmth of the sun and the groundedness of the earth. I think I need a nap after all that.
Sounded like a lot of stuff.
Do you want to douse for something really quick?
That was yes.
So I want to know, so the team has been, someone brought to the table that there were Gaia's soul shards that have been basically imprisoned, captured and imprisoned elsewhere, and people have been like using them for stuff. And so they identified 93. We've been working a lot on those. I think we're down to the 60s of that's our soul shards that still need to be reclaimed. And I'm feeling like whatever we did here today probably called some of those in. So I'm wondering how many more we reclaimed today through the work we did earlier.
All right. Did we reclaim more than 10 soul shards? More than 20? More than 30? More than 40? More than 50? Okay. 50 or 49, 48, getting there. 47. Looks like 47. 47 soul shards.
Not bad for a day's
That-
work.
yeah, that's outstanding. Out of what, 62, you said?
Something like that.
62. How'd you do that?
I disappeared. Only half of me is here.